Were you talking to someone out there?
No.
Yourself?
I'm talking to our fans.
Oh. Every morning?
Every morning. Every
Missed.
one of them.
Wow, why am I so freaking
bad
at this now? I don't play fucking beer pong every night. And it's been at least 5 years.
I think that tells you why you're bad at it. Because you don't play beer pong.
I grabbed it again for redemption. Motherfucker.
Oh my god.
This is so bad.
This is embarrassing for you.
Embarrassing for you. You know what's embarrassing?
Missing. Oh, if you'd have missed that time, I would have laughed and cried a little bit. Hi.
You gonna start it? You
No,
start it? You can
that
start
felt
it.
weird. No,
I think you should start
I think
it.
you should. Okay. I'm gonna start it just like I'm you. What's up, everybody? This is Anne Marie and
Eugene.
And welcome to episode, is it 14?
Mm-hmm.
14 of Half Awake, Fully Caffeinated. Ooh. We got some coffee questions. We got Eugene disappearing. We got some non-coffee questions. He made me start it today, and then he walked off, so I don't know what to do. I'm gonna do a fun little dance.
I was grabbing a very important item
Ooh.
that we haven't had in a while. Remarkable.
Remarkable. Brought to you by Remarkable.
Not brought to you by Remarkable.
Not brought to you by Remarkable.
But it could have been.
Could be.
Remarkable.
One day.
Not calling you out that you haven't contacted us yet.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
you can contact
You could.
us at any time.
Literally anytime.
Anytime. We're ready for you. Yeah, so as usual,
Coffee, two coffee, two non-coffee.
two coffee, two non-coffee. Mm-hmm. And my non-coffee was Mount Rushmore, and why?
And why?
And then my coffee question was, why do we sort coffee by size?
Ah.
And then
My questions were, is there a correlation between your heartbeat or heart rate and your lifespan? And my coffee question was, what is third wave coffee / how many waves of coffee are there / third wave coffee?
where'd it come from?
Where'd it come from?
Yeah. So who's going first? I've gone first the last 2 times. So I'll go first again. Why not?
Yeah,
Just stay
keep it going.
in tradition.
Keep it going.
And you know what? I'm going to start with the topic that I think is actually kind of a little boring. Why do we sort coffee by size? Honestly, I hate to say this to you, but when you asked me this question, I thought, wow, I have no idea how I'm going to turn this into a 4-minute thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's
I like this, by the way.
What?
Why are you shitting on this coffee?
Why are you shitting on this coffee?
Yeah, it's Gucci.
Timer going now. I'm not shitting on it. It's just a Gucci flavor that we've had before I started the timer. I need to stop talking. We're currently drinking a grade 2 Gucci from Ally Coffee. Thank you, Chris, if you're listening. This is a test, by the way. You know, if you want our business. I'm just kidding. Anyways.
I grabbed the wrong one, though.
She grabbed it wrong. Sorting coffee by size. Why do we do it? Well, one, because it just looks bad to have coffee that's like large and then small. Mm-hmm. But that's not the main reason. The main reason is uniformity allows for better roasting. So similar to if you've ever watched, what's the show where they learn how to cook?
Great British Bake Off.
Maybe something like that. If you watch cooking shows like Hell's Kitchen, no, not Hell's Kitchen. Anyways, some type of cooking show where they're competing and stuff, they're watching and they're like, oh, they didn't cut those veggies correct, very uniform, because if they don't cut it uniformly, it's going to cook differently. So you could get a piece of celery that's mushy, and then you get a piece of celery that's still kind of crunchy,
mushy.
which is probably where you want it. But uniform beans means they all roast the same. If you have a small bean with a large bean, there's a really good chance that small bean burns and then large bean does not.
No burn.
There'd be no burn.
Be no burn.
So then you have all these inconsistencies in your brew because of all of the different types of sizes of coffee that you have in there. It is also a good indicator of quality control. So what would the sorry, loud banging noises outside. Anyways, it is a sign of quality control. If you have coffee that is all uniform in size, it means that whoever has provided you this coffee has gone through the time and effort to get you coffee that is the same size. And then larger beans are technically more premium. The larger the bean, the more likely that you're going to be able to have more control over the roast. And then along with that, it's going to provide a more acidic and, more balanced flavor profile versus a smaller bean.
Interesting.
And it's because with smaller beans, lots more surface area, a lot more area for the heat to enter the bean. And so then smaller beans will heat up a lot faster, and then they will get all burnt and crunchy. While as larger beans, not as much surface area for how much they have going on.
Yeah.
And so it has a much more gradual heat
Interesting.
increase.
Okay.
Yes. Along with that, larger beans most normally occur at higher elevation. And so
That surprises me, actually.
yeah. And I think it's because of the longer growing process and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
I would say there are some varietals that are actually very large. Marigo Gipe, which is a varietal that we've had from E Cafe of Chiapas, they were humongous.
Very large beans, big beans.
But that doesn't entirely mean that it's a higher quality bean because the varietal is actually already a large varietal. While as if you got a Catura or a Catuai and have larger of those comparatively to the smaller, that is a good indicator.
You doing good?
Doing better.
So my question for you is, does that mean that pea berry is, what is pea berry then in the world of coffee in this instance?
Pea berry is a mutation, and usually, timer's done, it is technically a larger bean.
Really?
I mean, because if you think about it, pea berries are kind of like
They're just,
like this.
yeah.
There's only one pea berry per cherry. While as most coffee is like this,
okay.
and they have two beans per cherry.
Okay. Cool.
God.
There we go. Good job.
Thanks. Thank you for that. Thank
You're
you
so
for
welcome.
giving me a topic that is really hard to talk about for 4
I,
minutes.
you know what? I can't remember if that was a question that you wrote down or that I wrote down. So we'll both share the blame equally, I feel
yes, of
is
course, yes,
appropriate.
yes,
Okay. You ready to learn about coffee waves?
We are. As a quick note, there's going to be a little bit more background noise than normal because we have pushed forward our opening time and we actually have a barista out there.
Yeah, just working away.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Bye.
All right, so coffee waves. There are 3, depending on who you talk to, 3 to 6 different coffee waves.
Yes.
And so we start out with the first wave of coffee, which started in the 1800s, and it is just the commercialization of coffee. It's your Folgers, it's your grocery store coffee it's coffee to have coffee, if that makes sense. It's there's not going to be any information on where it's from, how it's processed, all of that. Usually it's going to be pre-ground.
It's Big Coffee's first foray.
Yeah,
into
Big
taking over
Coffee.
the world.
It's the way to get everyone so that everyone can drink coffee, not just certain people. So it's beneficial for that, I guess. So that's first wave. Second wave coffee is think Starbucks. Think it's the creation of the cafe culture. It's the adding espresso and milk. It's the sitting down in a cafe. It's adding syrup into your drinks. It's that whole experience. Introduction of cafe culture, basically.
Yes.
Third wave is specialty coffee, which is the umbrella that we fall under. Specialty coffee is basically it came as a reaction to bad coffee. In the 2000s, I believe it was 2005, but I could be pulling that year out of my butt. But sorry.
You got this. You were on such a good roll.
I was doing so good. So specialty coffee is all about being, and here's where it gets complicated because the third wave coffee and fourth, fifth, and sixth wave coffee are kind of, as the way I see it, fall under one umbrella. So specialty coffee is a heightened experience of the cafe culture. There's more effort and care and thought put into the coffee that we're brewing rather than just brewing coffee for the social situation type of deal, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's also like the emergence of celebrity baristas and, people that are
well, actually,
famous.
That would be depending on who you're talking to, because then we get into fourth, fifth, and sixth wave coffee, which is an umbrella. Like I said, I believe is an umbrella term because there's the fourth wave turns coffee, specialty coffee, into the science of coffee. So understanding the science behind and the why and the roasting and all of that process, which I believe we fall under because we know about the science of coffee. We learn this stuff. And then wave 5 is business of coffee. So this is why I'm like, it's all the same. It's all the same. Business of coffee, it's a coffee shop that is set up specifically to educate people about coffee, and it's just like good coffee for the purpose of good coffee. I think people coming in and they want to learn how to do a siphon or see how the siphon's done, or we talk them through how to do a pour over, all of that stuff. That's what fifth wave is. And then sixth wave coffee is all about connecting everything into one. So having the farmer information, having the importer information, having all of this. So this is why it's like the Beanyard is technically...
You don't need to justify it.
Yeah, no. But this is what I'm saying. It's like we fall under all of those umbrellas. I would still consider ourselves a specialty coffee shop, which is third wave. Third wave, I feel like fourth, fifth, and sixth fall under 3.
At least the way it sounds like.
Yeah.
The way that it sounds like is that first, second, and third are like legitimate phases. Like first one, and I always just kind of like go back to the 50s and the 40s. Like it started in the 1800s because that's it's like an umbrella term that catches everything. But 40s and 50s I feel like is real first wave coffee coming in because that's where it's heavily industrialized. It's like we have this massive growing population in the United States. Boomers. And not the negative term. Just boomers, because that's the generation.
Yeah.
We had to feed and like caffeinate an entire growing population of way more people than normal. And so during this time, we just start pumping coffee up. And it's just get it out there, get it to the people, get them caffeinated, get them productive and doing something for the economy.
Yeah.
Get them prepped for the 80s for cocaine. I'm just kidding. And then second wave coffee is kind of the next phase where we actually start paying attention to where it's coming from. You have cafe shops, like you said.
Are you just summarizing what I just said?
No, I'm trying to like get to the next point. But the third wave coffee, I feel like what they've done is fourth, fifth, and sixth is just pieces.
It's pieces.
It's not. It doesn't follow the same naming pattern. At least to me, because it seems like all of that came together at the same time.
Yeah.
Or at least was developing.
Developing at the same time. Yeah, I agree.
You know, at a certain point, coffee is special enough. You don't need to spend time making yourself feel more special.
Yeah.
By giving yourself a wave of your own.
Just
ride the wave.
Just ride the wave,
and it could just be the third wave.
It could be. Or it could be the 7th wave.
Or it could be number 21. 21 Waves.
21?
It should be a band name, actually.
21 Waves?
21 Waves.
Waves.
21 Waves.
I like it.
All right, let's jump into this.
Okay, cool.
Mount Rushmore. What the fuck? Like, honestly?
Yeah, seriously.
We learned this in elementary school, and it's just kind of like a whatever, you know?
I
It's totally normal. Like, this kind of stuff happens all the time. No, it doesn't. This is a totally abnormal thing that, honestly, to me, was like, when I started thinking about it, when we were, talking to each other about it, it's like, I don't get it. Why? Why? And here's the why. 1927.
1927?
The year is 1927.
That's when it was built, in the 20s?
No, it started in the 20s. 1927, someone named Dwayne Robinson decides that, hey, you know, South Dakota sucks a lot. Like, it's real fucking boring. So who the fuck is going to come here unless if we carve faces into a mountain? That, I mean, legitimately, think about it. Like, honestly, if I met this guy, and this is how he had to raise money, is he had to go to people and be like, hey, I'm going to carve faces on a mountain. Scheming. Like, this guy is a fucking fraudster. Like, what do you mean you're going to carve a face into a mountain? Anyways, Robinson is like, hey, I'm a historian. I'm going to carve faces on the mountain so that we can get South Dakota some tourism. And he's like, and to make sure that you guys are all aware or like excited about this, I'm going to use a guy named Gutzon Borglum to get this done.
Excited by Gutzon Borglum.
And I apologize. It was originally proposed in 1923.
I thought, I'm going to be honest, Mount Rushmore was a lot older than that.
No. Late
I never
90s.
learned about Mount Rushmore. Let me please say that. I know nothing.
Yeah. So they chose Tommy Jeff, G-Dub, Teddy Rose, and Abe because they represented key faces in the U.S. history. And honestly, I kind of agree with it.
Yeah.
Although like Teddy Roosevelt, like not entirely like huge, but I would say like he was a man's man, so I'll take it.
Okay.
Funding for the project, like I had mentioned earlier, was initially private. It's just fucking Robinson going. People's like, hey, I am going to carve faces on the mountains.
Give me money.
Give me money.
Ooh.
And so Calvin Coolidge, our president at the time, came and he dedicated the project. And because he was able to dedicate the project, he was able to secure federal funding and it became a National Park Service project.
Wow.
The project in total took $1 million.
That's it? Or
At that time.
At that time.
Which comes to $14.1 million, which is still like really low to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if someone were to build a mountain face sculpture today, it would be more than 50
I feel like it'd be
million.
way more than that. Also, there'd be like more environmental studies.
Yeah.
There's a lot more pieces that would go into it.
Yeah,
14.1 million seems low. So, Robinson, at least one thing, you did good.
He kept it within the budget.
You did a good budget.
Budget.
Like, honestly, that's fucking crazy. 1927 to 1941. That's how long it took to do this.
Okay.
It had 400 workers total, sculptors, miners, rock climbers, and they moved 450,000 tons of rock.
That's a lot of rock.
For another visualization of it, 75,000 elephants. That's how many.
That's a lot of
how many
elephants.
rocks they moved. The challenges that they ran into was harsh weather, financial constraints, of course, and then Borglum's death in 1941.
Borglum?
Literally the year that they were saying this is good enough to be opened up as a tourist attraction is the year that Borglum died, and then his son had to finish everything up.
That's sad.
My thought is that there's a really high likelihood that the son's like, I have no idea what's going on here, but yeah, this is good.
Yeah,
this
sure.
looks great. Like, just polish it. Hey, bud, over there, just put some wax on it.
Put some wax on it, we're good to go.
There, and that's like the majority of the story, and it actually does come to an end right now as well. But I do want to say there is some controversy about the placement of Mount Rushmore. It is on a mountainside in the Black Hills, which is technically sacred land to the Lakota Sioux. And in 1868, the United States government gave the Sioux this land. And then they found gold and took this land back. So there's some controversy about that. And then also there's like the historian controversy of like, well, I don't entirely think George W. Bush was part of a key phase of the United States. I think maybe we should have chosen, who's a wet noodle?
Who's a wet noodle?
Johnson? A wet noodle president. Like who?
What the fuck is a wet noodle president?
Someone that did fuck all? A lame duck president? Who was a lame duck president? We should choose a lame duck president for Mount Rushmore, number 2.
We should.
Yeah.
I can't think of any presidents right now other than
there was
recent
like
presidents.
someone Hayes.
Miller.
I want to say Hayes Johnson, but I'm pretty sure that was a kid I went to high school with.
Yeah. Hayes does sound kind of familiar.
It is. There was a president named Hayes.
Cool.
William Taft or Taft.
Benedict.
Jesus, I'm so bad at presidents.
Me too.
Who's the one that couldn't even get out of a tub? He was so fat.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're British.
Yeah. I can tell you about prime ministers.
Anyways, that's Mount Rushmore. Honestly, it's kind of wild to think that somebody was just like, this state sucks, so we need to
I'm gonna carve some faces on a mountain.
It's like, hey, we can be more than just taking land from the Indians.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, Native Americans.
At least you figured it out. We can be more than taking land from Native Americans by taking land from Native Americans and carving white men's faces on it.
Oppressors.
Yeah.
Oh, also, another name for Mount Rushmore, the Shrine of Democracy.
Oh.
Which, this is a reminder to us as we're editing this, I'm going to go find the Helldivers 2 theme, and I'm throwing that on top of that.
Okay, I don't know what that is. I'm excited.
It's great.
Okay, cool. Are you ready to learn about hearts?
Yes! I'm really excited about this one.
Okay, start your timer whenever you're ready.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, in short, to conclude this session, yes, there is a correlation between heartbeat and lifespan. So it is all due to a, what's his name? I forgot his name. The rate of living theory proposed by Max Rubner in 1908. He's the one that came up with stop it, my hands are sweating talking about this, just so you guys know. He's the one that came up with the theory or idea that we have a set amount of heartbeats for our lifespan, and so depending on how fast your heart rate is will depend on the span of your life. That is, where did his name go again? Heartbeat. So just animals have finite number of heartbeats until they die. Almost every mammal has about 1 billion heartbeats in their lifetime, including rabbits. For some reason that one is like, including rabbits. And so I kind of went on a little bit of a spiral because that weirded me out, because I was like, well, is it also heart size? Because some animals have bigger hearts than others, but they're smaller, and then I spiraled a lot. And so I found a chart of animals' lifespans versus their heartbeats. And as well, I found a chart that shows the age of rodents. And there are some rodents that can live for a really long time. I'm not gonna get into that one until the end because it's not as important, but mice live 12 to 18 months. And they have a heart rate of 500 to 700 beats per minute.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah, same as a hummingbird, actually.
Oh.
Similar rate as a hummingbird. Chipmunks have 200 to 300 beats per minute. They live up to 3 years.
Oh, nice.
So you're seeing the correlation. Giant tortoise, they live for 150-ish years.
Long time.
Very long time. They have 10 to 28 beats per minute. So that's why their billion is slow paced. And then elephants, 70 to 80 years, they have 25 to 35 beats per minute. And then the one that blew my mind is blue whales can live 80 to 90 years, 2 to 10 beats per minute.
The fact that it's in the water.
It's in the water, yes, exactly. I will say, I got distracted.
Lucky ducks.
Lucky whales. I'm sorry. The correlation is also about your metabolic rate. So it's all about how much energy your heart is giving and how much it is using of the heartbeat. So, for example, smaller animals are, and depending on where they are as well in the world, they are needing more heat, more warmth. They get cold faster. Their environments that they're in are potentially colder.
They would roast faster in a roasting.
Exactly, all of that fun stuff. And so that means their heart is beating faster to keep their heat up. So it's literally working harder and doing more per beat as well. So it's not just that it's beating faster, it's doing more per beat to try to keep the consistency of your lifeness alive.
Your liveliness.
Whereas with bigger animals like elephants and whales and things like that, their heart is beating once, but it's so big that one beat is going to be efficient enough for it to cycle through. The metabolic rate is what it is, I believe. Yeah, metabolic rate. blah, 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 blah.
So to clarify, this isn't just mammals. You said mammals, but it seems like it's all animals because you threw tortoises in there.
I know. I also tried to stay with mammals, but then I couldn't not throw a tortoise in. Thank you. I really tried because I also started looking into hummingbirds, and then that didn't make sense for that because hummingbirds aren't mammals.
Yeah, but they still have the same lifespan-ish. It seems like
so-
hummingbirds die faster.
No, hummingbirds actually have a lifespan of 3 to 5 years.
What?
Yeah, I know.
No way.
I know. No, they can live for way longer than mice. So
I had no idea.
exactly. That's why I was like, I'm gonna stay away from.
I always thought hummingbirds just died like the season.
So
seasonal birds.
It depends on where they are because they do. A lot of hummingbirds do die seasonally if it gets too cold. But if they're in a climate where their heart doesn't have to beat as hard to keep them as warm in the winter, you see where we're going?
I see where we're going.
where we're going. So yeah, I did not see how many heartbeats a human beats per minute, but
so average for human heart rate, I think, is like anywhere from 50 to like 80 or something like that.
okay.
I don't know. It can actually be lower than that. I do know that there are some amazing endurance athletes that have a much lower heart rate than that, which is very interesting.
Yes, there is.
It has me with more questions that I'm going to be asking.
Oh God, yeah. There is evidence that if you therapeutically decrease your heart rate with a doctor, it can help increase lifespan.
Yeah. Interesting. So that was our topics, but now we need new topics.
Yes.
We didn't do what we said we were going to do, which is
Yep.
pick the topics ahead of time. But
Look at us go.
I do have a non-coffee topic for you, which is breathing. My understanding is that with breathing isn't actually the way that you think. From my question to you is reducing the amount of breaths you take a minute going to impact your longevity and health overall? And then along with that, why would it have any impact at all?
That's such a long question.
It is a long question. Such a long question indeed. But I think it ties into this. Sorry, I'm grabbing my pencil so I can write down my question.
Okay. My question for you, it's related to the question that I gave you last week as well. I don't know anything about American history, and I feel like that is something I should learn. So I will give you the choice to pick your favorite president and tell me about him.
I get to choose the president.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to give me a choice to do different questions.
Unless you want me to choose but I don't know that many presidents. So teach me about a president that I definitely have never heard of. That's my question.
Well, No, you've changed it now. I thought you said I could choose.
Okay, you choose, but choose a rare one. A rare one. Choose
No, you said favorite.
Okay, fine, choose your favorite. But it better be someone cool.
In my opinion, he's pretty fucking cool.
Okay, cool. Okay. Do you have a coffee question?
I think my coffee question is going to be, what is... You know what? Actually, I don't have one immediately. Do you have a coffee question for me?
I have half of one.
All right, what's half of the question?
Just kidding, I don't.
Coffee is a little bit harder to get deeper and deeper into sometimes.
Here's the thing, I think what we need to
know more.
That's the thing, we know more, but we need to be asking simpler and easier questions that we already know the answers to. Because people watching don't know all this stuff.
You're probably right.
We could ask questions like, I feel like we've discussed specialty coffee, third wave, all of that stuff.
We've touched on all of those ones, of course.
Brought to you by Remarkable.
At the end of the day, we can always just grab our little cheat sheet that we have here. Oh yeah. What is the benefit of volcanic soil for
But,
coffee,
oh yeah,
because that's a big one.
that is a great one. Thank you, me. Volcanic soil for coffee. And already done. Ooh, what other uses does coffee have in all of its forms? I like that. Uses of coffee, other than to drink for energy.
Well, thank you guys again,
Thank you.
per usual, for joining us.
It's been wonderful.
I don't know. I think maybe no, 9 of you. I know there's some of you guys out in
Hey.
Arkansas. Hey, how y'all doing out in Bentonville? And then I do know that there's another one of us in Holiday somewhere. So hello out there. We're slowly gathering
Slowly.
individuals. Yes. But hey, thank you again for joining. If you have any topics that you want to know more about, please let us know. Or if you feel like there was a topic that we didn't dig into far enough,
Yes.
let us know as well. Per usual, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Pew, pew, pew.